again, right? Yeah, freezing temperatures out there for tonight. We've got the weather extra on how cold it will get. Plus, if we'll see any flurries this week, looks like some more colder weather. We'll explain.
And a scary sight caught on camera. Snowboarders found themselves in the middle of an avalanche this weekend in Colorado. We have an update on their condition. And plus, what happened on the International Space Station that's causing crew to have to return home a month earlier than planned.
Live on your side. First Alert Weather Extra starts right now.
And welcome into Weather Extra. Meteorologist Matt Daniel joining us again. Matt, you and I were here tracking some of that rain and heavy storms over the weekend. What a system to bring in 2026.
Yeah, well, you know, the good thing about it was we really needed the rainfall, and it sure did its thing for us, didn't it, Wes?
Yeah, it certainly did. Almost the complete monthly budget for some areas out there. But we're going to be talking a lot more about that coming up here very shortly. But I want to show you first off tonight, we're getting you ready for a cold night with freezing temperatures all across the state. We're in the 30s in places like Coleman and Pell City, Tuscaloosa to Aliceville 43, Birmingham's 42, 37 at Anniston. And this is one of those nights because the sky clears out very calm. We'll have that radiational cooling. I think the outlying areas and especially the lower elevations, we'll see those temperatures really tumbling down into the 20s tomorrow morning. But we're clearing out. That temperature tumbles to around 28 overnight. And before the morning drive, you may have some frost on the windshield early in the day, so maybe a quick scrape out there. Certainly some frost on the rooftops, and then sunshine comes back. We've got a day with highs around 57. Beautiful day coming up tomorrow. Yeah, 57, not warm, but we'll take it, right? Especially with a little bit of sunshine, wind southwest at 5 to 10. After that, rain chances come back on Wednesday and maybe a couple of showers over the weekend. We were seeing some model data that was suggesting maybe some wintry precipitation perhaps at some point across the region. I think areas to really watch as far as any snowy weather. If you're traveling north, parts of Tennessee could end up with some snow before the weekend. But we're going to watch Wednesday. Notice we'll have some rain coming back. By the afternoon, you can see it's not heavy rain, and it won't rain all day, but just enough to where you'll want that umbrella nearby. And then what happens Wednesday night and Thursday morning, here comes the blast of cold air, but look how quickly we dry out and even start to clear out behind this. But as that colder air drops in, if we have any leftover clouds, they may squeeze out a flurry, but really not much to this. That's the big story is going to be the cold north wind that kicks in, and when you step outside Thursday morning, wind chills down in the single digits. Look at this Thursday morning. We're showing 12 degrees around Gadsden, 13 at Coleman. Again, these are feels like temperatures, but it is going to feel a lot colder there during the morning. Looking back at that event over the weekend, we can confirm the National Weather Service, they have confirmed an EF0 tornado for northern Cleburne County. Peak winds 80 miles per hour. EF0 path width about 75 yards and a length about 7.4 miles. This is northern Cleburne County. This will be south and east of Piedmont, but north of Heflin. And again, that was from that event over the weekend. This occurred early Saturday morning. That was the only confirmed tornado close to home. We'll be talking, though, about how much rainfall we received in 30 seconds. Matt comes back to update us. Plus, we'll be back with more on the extended forecast.
All right, let's talk about what happened this past weekend because, yes, it was a big deal. We had a lot of rainfall across the area, and you can see who saw a little bit and then those that saw a lot. And we had this one little band of really heavy rainfall that set up across Bibb and in parts of Shelby County and around Pell City, seeing maybe up to 3 to 4 inches in some spots, and down towards Chilton County, Coosa County, over 5 inches of rain fell over the past couple of days. This is from Friday and Saturday. And our weather watchers, of course, gave us those updates out of Pell City. Bobby Rowe said, hey, I measured 9 inches of rainfall in my yard. That's incredible. Over 6.5 inches there in Talladega from Joseph Williamson. Out of Coker, Ronald Hughes recording over 3.5 inches of rainfall. And then in Birmingham from Joey Amberson showing over almost 3.5 inches, and over 3 inches there in Oakman and Graysville from Sarah Porter and Debbie Alexander. We really appreciate all of our weather watchers that help us out. But check out the rainfall total so far this month. Very impressive. You know, we've been in a drought. We'll get a new drought update coming in Thursday. So we'll be talking about that on Weather Extra. But look at Tuscaloosa. You've already picked up over 5 inches of rain, which is more than what you would typically see in the entire month of January. So I'd say we're pretty good to go, knowing that we still have a halfway to go. So we'll be watching that over the next several weeks, see how we end up for the month of January. Now we'll go from weather to outer space. Astronomers have a new theory about a mysterious unknown astronomical object. It's known as Cloud 9. Scientists say Cloud 9 appears to be a starless cloud dominated by dark matter. And dark matter is believed to make up 85% of the total matter in the universe and can be detected due to its gravitational effects. A new report says the object is the result of a failed galaxy due to a lack of stars surrounding it. And astronomers say the research could lead to a better understanding of dark matter, how galaxies are formed, and how the universe was formed as well. And 4 astronauts will return to Earth from the International Space Station a month ahead of schedule. According to NASA, an unnamed crew member has experienced an undisclosed medical issue and is in stable condition. The astronauts will undock from the International Space Station no earlier than Wednesday afternoon to return to Earth. And the mission was expected to conclude no earlier than next month. The space agency said NASA astronaut Chris Williams is well prepared to handle any tasks that come his way on the ISS Crew 12. Astronauts will join him shortly to help bring staffing back to usual levels. And back to school. We're taking you to the first day of school for students in North Carolina who are finally back in their high school, which was devastated by Hurricane Helene more than a year ago.
Teachers, promote literacy in your class by scheduling a book reading with WBRC. Scan the QR code now to help your kids soar to new heights with Soar with 6.
Well, it's weather picture time here on Weather Extra, and it's when we show pictures that you've sent in through our First Alert weather app. So this was from all the rain that we had. Danielle Isbell sent this in from Swan Bridge in Hayden. If you look over here, you can see Swan Bridge, but the swollen river or creek that is around there, man, that's a lot of rain. Had a couple of videos in. Check this out. This is Highland Lake, Alabama, from Amber Jackson. This is in Blount County. I know they have a Highland Lakes in Shelby County, but here it comes. Look at all that rainfall, some swollen creeks and lakes and rivers across our area. So yeah, man, that's a lot of rain in a short period of time. Here is a video. I think it's from someone's camera on their house or something. This is some rain that came through. They said it rained for 30 seconds and then it just went completely calm. That was Lee Applebaum that sent that in. So lots of rain that came on through. And then Debbie Russo said, finally, a glimpse of the sunshine after 3 days. So it's really nice to see that as well. If you want to share a picture, first you got to download the First Alert Weather app, and you scroll down to the bottom. You'll see where you can submit photos, and we can feature some of these, not only for Weather Extra here, but all throughout the day here on WBRC. So get those pictures in. We'd love to see them.
All right, thank you so much, Mickey. Hey, it was recently the first day of school for some students in the Appalachians. Now, last week, the halls at Hampton High School were filled with students for the first in more than a year. The school was severely damaged in Hurricane Helene 16 months ago, and as Liam Bridgman tells us, students say recovery from the storm has made them closer.
For the first time since Helene devastated the Hampton community back in September of 2024, students returned to Hampton High School with smiling faces.
I think we were all a little nervous about coming back. We didn't know if we were going to be able to, but then here we are. We're back finally.
The first few hours of the day, students were able to tour the school, looking at the changes and upgrades.
Our freshmen have never been in this building before, and our sophomores were only in here for about 4 weeks. So we've got a lot of, getting students reacclimated to our building, our home.
Hampton High School may be the home of the Bulldogs, but it's also at the center of a community still healing.
When I drive by here every day, we were used to seeing kids playing football, and we were used to seeing bands practicing, community using the track and the tennis courts. And then all that just ceased after Helene. And you really wondered, would it ever come back and be able to flourish again? And to see that happening now is amazing.
It wasn't overnight, but over time, the Hampton rebuild was able to garner support from the local, state, and national level, leading to an emotional homecoming.
And I think it's really important to tell everybody, our community, surrounding communities, how much we appreciate everything that they did for us, everything.
Why is this so special?
I think us being so resilient has made us stronger together, not only as one. And I think that it's brought everybody together as a whole.
And it's been a year since 2 major wildfires that happened just hours and miles apart devastated Los Angeles County. And the fires burned for a month, killing 31 people and destroying more than 16,000 buildings. And for many families, recovery is just getting started. As Sarah Allegre tells us, recovery is happening, but it's a painfully slow process.
Well, 2 separate fires were burning that day, but here in Altadena, it was the Eaton fire that changed the trajectory of this community. That day we were dealing with 90-mile-an-hour wind gusts, and this fire exploded within just a few hours. And communities like this one, where homes once stood, families gathered together, were changed. All that's left now, vacant lots. This is what Brian Child's property looks like now. No house, no debris, just land, cleared, quiet, and waiting. A year ago, everything he had was right here. Brian remembers the dark smoke rolling over Altadena the night the Eaton fire started.
Because all you see is black smoke going about 100 miles an hour and flames all around you.
But for most of the evening, his home was still standing until
it wasn't.
I sat right down across the street for about 15 minutes, called my wife and said, it's gone.
Brian's house was one of more than 9,000 destroyed here in Altadena. According to city and county data, just 10 homes have been rebuilt so far.
The front, the side, the back.
Brian hopes his will be next. The plans are done, the permits are moving.
So we have a big porch here.
If all goes right, he'll break ground this year.
This is part of my family's legacy, right? I want to be able to leave this to my kids and hopefully their kids.
But not everyone here has that option. Many who lost homes in Altadena were renters. That's where Beacon Housing steps in, a local nonprofit building long-term housing for low-income fire survivors.
The housing need remains deeply, deeply urgent. We still see applications every day from folks who are living in their cars a year after the fire.
1 year ago, Paula Nautepatak and her children were running from the flames. But today, as she awaits progress on her own home, she's helping others start over.
It's even more important for a place like Altadena where that community ties is so strong that we're really looking out for our neighbors here, right?
Back on Brian's property, while the house is gone, his inspiration for rebuilding isn't.
But the home part of it was not the four walls, the roof, or the windows. So it was my family.
The Eaton Fire is California's second most destructive wildfire in state history. It lasted for several weeks and burned more than 14,000 acres. In Altadena, California, Sarah Alegre, Fox News.
And disasters across the U.S. caused about $115 billion in damage last year, and that includes 21 severe thunderstorms that caused $1 billion in damage each. Wildfires in Southern California accounted for more than half of the year's total damage. And the report said 2025 was the least costly year for disasters since 2019. Interestingly, the report did not include damage caused from hurricanes, since not a single hurricane hit the U.S. last year. And while 2025 started extremely dry in California, 2026 is off to a very wet and stormy start. Cleanup from recent storms is ongoing in the central part of the state. And as Cornell Smith tells us, years of drought have killed trees, making them more likely to fall during a storm.
My son was sleeping right there, about 10 feet away, and just felt like an earthquake and an explosion.
Mark Wise from Cazadero making a stunning discovery over the holidays. This 300-foot old-growth redwood toppling on his property during a storm.
But after 24 years here, you know the sound of a tree falling when it's just in the forest or when it hits a car or hits a structure, so you kind of realize that, okay, it didn't hit anything with people in it, so.
Mark owns Raymond's Bakery restaurant. The giant tree destroying the outdoor dining area and part of the kitchen.
Probably have to jackhammer the foundation, excavate it, pour a new one, reframe the wall.
Near Monterrio, this chunk of Highway 116 falling off into the Russian River during heavy rain Monday. Traffic is now reduced to one lane. Caltrans and the fire department say the washout could grow as runoff flows continue downhill.
What happened, we went down the other day with a boat and a jet ski. Underneath it is a eddy coming back on. It's just sucking away at the bottom, so it's just going to keep sliding.
So much rain falling here during the holidays, bringing flooding, falling trees, damaging homes like this one along the Bohemian Highway.
The problem we're having now, we had all those years of drought, so we had a lot of dead trees. Now they're filling with water and just toppling.
Signs now posted along the Russian River warning about raw sewage which spilled into the river this week. It happened after the river overflowed at a sewage treatment plant in Guerneville. The spill has now been stopped. Water testing is happening.
As a precaution, we did do some sampling. All our samples have come back good. At no time has the water been impacted.
And scary moments for a group of snowboarders in Colorado. This video shows the group getting caught up in an avalanche at Rocky Mountain National Park Saturday. One rider was pinned under the snow for a short amount of time, but fortunately, they only suffered minor injuries. Wes?
All right, Matt, and a live look from Coleman right now, 34 degrees already. That temperature is dropping quickly out there, and the outlying areas tonight will go a lot colder than what the models suggest. I expect we'll see some mid, even some low 20s in a few spots tomorrow morning. Let me just show you, I pulled up a view here. This was from Bobby Rowe, our weather watcher this evening, but the sky has been on fire out there. But if you captured one of those sunsets, you can share it with us. But that's from Bobby Rowe over in Pell City. But what a beautiful view this evening. That was heading into tonight. You could see there were a few clouds out there, but overall looks like, let me switch sources here. Overall looks like the sky is going to clear out. There will be some frost out there early tomorrow morning, so you may need to factor in a few extra minutes there for some scrape time to warm the car up. And it looks like the rest of the day, however, will feature a nice warm up by the afternoon. So here's a look at future radar. Overnight lows down into the 20s, and tonight we clear out. The wind tomorrow southwest 4 to 8. Sunshine comes back. Afternoon highs in the 50s. Enjoy it. A beautiful day tomorrow after that cold start. We'll need the heavy jacket in the morning, but the temperatures will improve nicely. But notice the rain comes back on Wednesday. Very sharp upper level trough moving across the region. A lot of upper level energy with this system. But the thing is, the atmosphere basically dries out so quickly as the cold air moves in. You can see a little bit of lift that will kick off some rain on Wednesday. It's not the level of rain we just saw. Mostly light showers, but I would keep that umbrella nearby during the day. And then you can see Wednesday night and Thursday morning some of these leftover clouds. It wouldn't surprise me even if northeast Alabama and those northern areas, we might get a couple of flurries, but that's about it as that colder air moves in. Temperature wise, lows in the 20s Thursday morning, but the wind chills, that's what you're looking at right here, the feels like temperatures, and you can see those values will be taking the tumble down into the teens into early Thursday morning. So as that cold blast arrives, wind chills, single digits and teens, highs will be in the 30s on Thursday. So that is going to be a very, very cold day coming up. And then after that, we're going to be talking about mostly dry weather there as we head into the weekend. But 28 tonight, frost, freezing temperatures, 57 tomorrow, mostly sunny weather on the way. And here's that 10-day forecast, and you'll see that the weekend we did put a small chance of maybe a shower early Saturday. Temperature well above freezing Saturday, 48, and then maybe again a few sprinkles there Sunday as that next surge of cold air moves in. Looks like by MLK Day, highs in the 40s, and after that, we'll have a few dry days as we head into the following week. But Matt, you and I were talking about the weekend here coming up for Saturday and Sunday. A small chance of showers yesterday and even into the morning runs of some of the models suggested we might see some snow across parts of the region. But right now, it looks like the greater chance of that happening in parts of East Tennessee.
Yeah, we've been watching those models very closely for the weekend, and you know, you have one run that shows snow, but then if you look at the ensemble, which shows like 20 plus runs of what could happen, most of them aren't showing a thing. So until they start showing something, we're not that confident much will happen for us this weekend, but a lot can change. We'll watch it. Beyond the 7-day, though, we're looking at temperatures well above average. It looks like we'll see some warm air make its way in here between January 20th and the 26th. So if you're not a fan of this cold air that's moving in late this week, just wait. 10 days later, you're looking at warmer temperatures, and we may end up a little bit on the wet side as well as we go into the second half of January. So once again, we're going to see probably better chances for rain, and that's just going to help us out when it gets rid of the drought. There's more extra coming up in just a few minutes. Stay with us.
All right, Matt, some rain coming back on Wednesday, but we're not talking 5-6 inches of rain, right?
Oh, thank goodness. Yeah, it was a lot of rain.
Yeah,
so this is just annoying showers, right? So the roads will be wet, so just be cautious if you're out and about on the roadways.
I know a lot of questions are, we're going to see some snow this week. The models, of course, they do the back and forth thing. We might see a few flurries early Thursday morning, but that's about it. The big story is going to be the cold coming up.
Yeah. But hey, before we go, I want to show you some cool pictures. This is the Warrior River in Tuscaloosa at Foster's Bridge. You can see the river definitely up from that rain, Wes.
Yeah, it's rolling.
Yeah, so thanks to Teresa Swinger for that picture.
And the same spot, just 14 hours apart. You can see how much it rained in Shelby County. This is from William Richards Trail Cam. Look at the top picture of the Friday evening and then compared to Saturday morning. Yeah, a lot of rainfall, but now we're drying out and headed towards that freezing mark tonight. We'll be tracking the colder temperatures first at 9.
Have a great